everybody is in the room? Who are we waiting for? Looks like somebody's grabbing a coffee, and then we'll make a start. 5 minutes early, so I promise you the programme will not run to time. So we might as well start the way we mean to go on. Right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for trekking over here, down here, up here, however you've got here. Really appreciate it. You will see that we have got a videographer in the room. We've got Japan from Wolfget Media, local company. Alison, Gus, where is Gus? He's not even here yet. Definitely use them. He's fantastic. It's been brilliant. Since I called him at 6 o'clock yesterday morning, the snow arrived, and I said, we need to video these sessions, please. Because I know unfortunately, the Scottish contingent haven't made it due to the flights, and others have got half of the office out with COVID, and all sorts of things come to challenge us nowadays. But we plough on, irrespective of everything that's thrown at us, which is kind of the theme for today's conference, funnily enough. So what I would like to remind you of, please, is action points. Take lots of action points. Think about who you are going to share these with back in the office. I know we've got most of the Bevan Buckland office here, it feels like, but most of you might be the only representative from your firm, or certainly not the whole firm. And so what I want to make sure is that you don't waste today. You really leverage your attendance here, that you think about now who you are going to share this information with when you get back to the office, so that it isn't just you that's got these ideas and motivation and tips in your head, but you're able to run it through the whole office. So if necessary, now book a meeting. Do it now. I don't mind using your phones. Book a meeting. Think about who are we going to share this with, so that we absolutely make the most of it. Think about your last previous conference 6 months ago and the one before that. Have you still got loads of action points on there that you haven't yet fulfilled? And that is a real shame, because I want to see you making progress. You're putting a huge investment into being here of time and cost, and I really don't want you to waste it. So the theme of today is global impacts that are actually hitting our local businesses. And these impacts we've been talking about coming down the line for 2 years or more. And we talked about headwinds, and we've talked about all the macro situation. And I tend to think that our firms in particular, accountants in general, have good quality client bases who are particularly resilient. They may have strong balance sheets, they may have a long trading history, and they don't necessarily get hit so quickly by things that are changing around them. However, we are now, as you will see, with my presentation, Paul's presentation, the Kroll presentation, that this is not going away anytime soon, and it's already been around for a good 12 months or more. And your clients will be being affected now. If you're not seeing it, that's either because your clients aren't seeing it yet, and that might be because they haven't got the data to show them what's happening. And as much as they think they're really busy and their top-line sales are great, in real terms, it isn't great, and their margins may not be as great as they think they are, and they are at risk of overtrading. I wrote a guide about overtrading that I shared with you, and I can do it again if you need it. Share it with your clients. Get them to understand what overtrading means, because they really need up-to-date financial information now to really protect themselves and make sure that they're not going to fall into these traps where all of a sudden they're in a cash flow crisis, or the business has taken a huge downturn and they didn't see it coming. So either they're not seeing it yet, or you're not seeing it yet, but it absolutely is happening now. So don't sit back and say it won't happen to us, it doesn't happen to our firm, our clients are great, because none of them can possibly be all great. It is definitely an issue. But look, we are the support, aren't we, for those clients, and we have to support them and make a difference. But I'm going to come back to that in a minute. 2 weeks ago, just over, I went into that there London, to Mansion House, caught the bugs and the germs from London town and haven't got rid of them yet. They're just vile down there. Can't shake them off. Not COVID, I have to say. I've done 3 tests. Cost me £6 for 3 tests, and I've still not got COVID. I went to Mansion House because, beautiful building, outside and in. It was the Institute's Corporate Finance Faculty 25th anniversary reception. And I've been in the CF faculty for pretty much all of those 25 years. And, in the early days, did a lot with them, helped them create the qualification and did different things. Then fell out with them about 10 years ago because they just weren't focusing on SME corporate finance. So I've hardly done anything with them since. However, this invitation came through and I thought, okay, I've got to go. Let me get back involved with them again. Turned up into this beautiful building. You can imagine with the great and the good of the corporate finance world, especially from London, all there. The corporate lawyers, the corporate finance accountants, the private equity houses, everybody that was anybody was in that room, about 300 people. And I started mingling. I was there with Chris Kelly, actually, who fortunately can't be here today. And we were laughing afterwards about the conversations we were having in the room. So I was talking to, working my way around the room, talking to different people, lawyers, accountants, and saying, nice of you to join us, Gus. Come in, take a seat. I'm going to make you sit on the front row now, just because you're late. And you can imagine, after these, the way these conversations are going, and what do you do? I said, I work with a network of accountants, and we look at SME corporate finance. Oh, everybody was saying, oh, God, I hate working on smaller deals. I can't be doing working with owner managers, with founders. They're a nightmare. I'm like, yeah, they are. They don't know what they're doing. It's all an emotional thing. It's not a business decision. I'm like, yeah, it is. But it's absolutely fantastic, I'm saying, because you can make such a difference, such a massive difference to an individual's business, family, life, etc. And they were like, and they're all chasing the same small pocket of deals of, the $1 million, $2 million EBITDA businesses. They're all chasing after the same work. And was I impressed with them for doing that type of work, those big ticket deals, mid-market deals, whatever you want to call it? No, I was not impressed, and I never have been impressed. Because to support a company through a transaction, sorry to those that are in the room, where's Kirsty, that works on some larger deals, the lawyers. But to support a business that's got a board of directors that are very experienced, that have got a corporate strategy, that have got individual teams that work on the business plan, that have got integration teams, that have got deal analysis teams. Look, a lot of the work's done for them as advisors, isn't it? And it's a commercial decision what they do, whether they buy a business, sell a business, whatever they're doing. It's a corporate decision. The skill is absolutely not the same as the skills that we need. When we're working with owner managers who are not ready to sell, and we have to take them on that journey, both psychologically as a business owner and also as a business, to make them into something that is sellable. Whether we're taking businesses through an acquisition strategy and getting them warmed up to the idea of acquisition, and then ultimately, hopefully, buying a business and helping them grow. Whether we're looking at their business plan and how they're going to grow and how we're going to fund it to make sure it happens. Look, those are the things that we get to do. We have the privileged position of having that impact. And they have none of that in the larger corporate deals, when it's literally just take them through a process. And yes, watch out for risks, but, they're quite experienced in the corporate board anyway. We are in a position where we're able to keep our local communities going. And I talk about this more and more, and I will continue to do so, that as the generations are going on, our business economy and our new business startups will not look the same as our traditional Gen X baby boomer type businesses who wanted to have property, who wanted to have employees, who wanted to grow an entity. The vast majority of new start businesses that are Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever we're going to next, they are looking to be agile, small businesses that don't employ staff, they use subcontractors. They don't have property, residences, they move around. They want to be agile. They don't want to have overheads and costs. They are not going to be the employers and the training providers of the future for your community. So, I look at my son now who's 19, doing an accounting degree. Weirdly, I didn't think he would, but, we've got enough accountants in our family, thank you. But he's gone to do accountancy. And I just look forward to the profession in 10 years' time and just think, where is his future going to be as an accountant? But you look in every sector, every skill, you think, where are they going to get their training from? We don't train anywhere near the number of apprentices that we used to do in various different skills. And I know the government are trying to do something about that, but the nature of the culture of that Gen Z is just going to be very difficult to be persuaded. They're going to be different types of people with lots of businesses, but lots of small businesses. So for the businesses that you do have in your local community, your employers, it's absolutely essential that you protect them, that you help them grow, that you make sure they're still there and they transition through the generations and stay there as employers in your local community. So we can do that. We can give founders a healthy, happy, hopefully retirement with, money to do things with, money for their family, how amazing. We can create jobs, more jobs as the business grows. We've got such power, and yet I don't think we really truly appreciate it. Because if you now think about your impact that you're having in your firm, I would like you to write down the number of business clients that you've got approximately in your practice. Okay, that shouldn't take that long. You should pretty much have an idea. And then, now this might take a bit longer. How many clients in the last 6 months, 12 months if you like, how many clients, write down, do you think you have made sellable? They weren't saleable, but they are now. You're taking them through a process that's working with the founder to change their mentality. It's working with the business to change the way it looks to potential purchasers. How many have you made from being not sellable to sellable? Write that down for me. How many have you turned on to the idea of acquisition? They'd never thought about buying a business before, but in the last 6 to 12 months, you have changed their mind, you've got them interested, and you're now starting to look at an acquisition strategy with them. Write down a number. How many have you helped develop a growth strategy and a growth business plan? And how many of those have you helped fund that growth? I can hear my phone somewhere, but I don't know where it is. How many have you helped fund that growth so that they've got the finance in place to deliver on that business plan? Okay, add those up. You should have 4 numbers. As a percentage of the practice clients, how many have you had an impact on? Okay, and now, in the next 6 months, what percentage do you want to have an impact on across the firm?
More, I think, would be the answer.
I'm hoping it's going to be quite a lot more. So, I have a theory, I've shared it with a few of you over the last couple of years, that most of us were trained in audit, or a lot of us in our generation were trained as auditors. And I think that gives us that kind of independence, not conflicted thing running through our DNA that we struggle to get past. We've been trained it years ago. And that then means, I think, that a lot of accountants that have been trained like that naturally stand back and observe and analyse, but don't want to get stuck in too close to a business as a client. And I think most of our practices are like that. And that shift from being that old school auditor, even though we may not be auditing the company anymore, but that mentality into being a truly impactful advisor that can make a real difference is difficult culturally, psychologically, to shift yourself and your teams into that world. And that's the challenge for all of you, I think, is to change the way you think of what is your role as accountants. Are you there to report on historical data and tell the client what they've done? And are you there to do what the client asks you to do? Great. If they come to us and say, I want to buy business, super, we're off. Or are you there to make a difference and have an impact and change the way they think and change the way they run their business? I've said this loads. Know your power and let's get shit done. It's my thing that we keep saying over and over and over. And it absolutely is so, so true. Now, I know what you're going to say to me. And Mark landed it last night straight away. We want to get rid of clients. We've got too many. We don't want more work. And I know you've got no capacity. And I know you're busy as a firm. Okay, now we've been saying this for years. There's got to come a point where you do something about it. And I know you're trying to recruit. And I know you're struggling with retention. And I know it's a massive fight out there for talent, huge issue in the profession. So let me just give you some tips, because I haven't got time to do a full session on recruitment here. I would like you now to go and have a look, either on your LinkedIn or on your website, company pages. I want you to go and look at your careers page. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe you haven't got one. But go and have a look at your careers page, please. And I want you to tell me what it says. I want you to look yourself what it says. I don't want you to tell me. Does it say things like, I've been and looked at your recruitment pages, okay? Does it say things like, we need you to have this experience, that qualification. We need you to want to do this. We need you to want to do that. And in return, we'll give you 20 days holiday and private healthcare or whatever, and flexible working, whatever that means. Is that the type of thing it says? Or does it say, do you tell potential employees, we want you to be able to understand how to use the leading technology in the market at the moment. We want you to have an opportunity to work on exciting assignments. We want you to progress as fast as you want to progress through your career and show them career examples of other people in your firm that have progressed. We want you to make a real difference to businesses in our community and our community in general, and if you do, like your charity work and so on. That's what you need to be telling potential employees. Do you make it easy for them to approach you, or do you only have jobs advertised? So I know, I'm not going to name the firm, but there's a firm in this room. I know they are recruiting. And I went on their website and there was no job advertised. But I know they need staff. So make it easy for people to send you their email. I know you don't want agencies, but let them send you their emails. Do you get close to the colleges and the universities? Do you work with tutors and lecturers to get to know them personally and share how exciting it is to work for your firm so that they will go and tell their best students, come and work for you? Do you put that time in? Do you make that difference? Because you can't tell me you're still struggling for staff when I see the job pages and careers pages that you have out there in the public domain and your social media that others will be looking at. Of course they're going to go to Grant Thornton or BDO or, there's not only is there more money on offer, and it is not about money. It's not just about money. It's the fact that the way that it's sold to them by those larger firms. So please spend some more time on your recruitment strategy and put it into action. There was a particular firm I worked with. They're not here today, so that'll narrow it down. that I worked with on their core values, and we talked about how amazing the firm was going to be. And then I looked at the recruitment ads, and it was nothing like that. So it all needs to be joined up. So please recruit more, train more, and you will not have this capacity backlog that you've got. And then you're in a position to do the really impactful work that you know is out there and support your communities. Know your power. So, I've probably already run over on time, but I knew I was going to. You're going to get lots of tips today, lots of ideas, lots of motivation. Hopefully you've already got some action points written down right now. Please keep writing them down. Think about how you're going to delegate them around the office, how you're going to share them when you get back. Make the most of today. And you're going to hear more positive messages now and options from Paul. Thank you, Paul.